Hello, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to day 7 of our yin yoga practice. Today will be another 60-minute adult yin practice. I forgot to mention yesterday, and for any yin pose, we ought not include children under the age of 12, at least for the holding of the positions. They are welcome to join, but don't hold. If we come into a yin position, keep moving within that space because those bones are still ossifying. They are still undergoing the ossification process and don't want to warp with those beautiful calcifying bones. Otherwise, today we will again aim to hold the positions for up to 2 to 3 minutes each. Allow yourself to come into the practice. Close your eyes, open your mind, deepen your breath, soften your heart. Relax your body and inhale deeply through the nose. Visualize a balloon in your belly extending outward at all sides, of course. And as you exhale, with control, draw the belly button inward. Imagine it can touch the spine at some point, and extend the exhale to be twice as long as your inhalation. And with every subsequent breath, deepen your practice, deepen your breath. You may want to set an intention for yourself, a resolve or a goal to come back to throughout the practice if you find your mind wandering. You may want to make it physical and imagine your consciousness rotating through the body, allowing your imagination to take over at points. And in this particular practice today, on March 25th, 2020, I would like us all to keep in our thoughts those that have passed from this world, and particularly the beautiful soul of Mrs. Dzongaro, all of her beloved family and friends remaining. Allow your thoughts to come to these people, come to these places. Remember these states and breathe into those sensations, passing on your sensation of relaxation. As you continue to breathe very deeply, inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the nose, lengthening the inhale, lengthening the spine, expanding the belly. Find your normal breath. Sit with your normal breath and just allow it to travel through the body. Explore the spaces where you feel tightness and tension. Where do you sit in your body? Where do you find yourself resonating most? Is it in your belly, your chest? Are you in your head? Where are the you of yourself? Continuing to breathe very deeply. We'll come into an alternative nostril practice, so we will be sitting for another few moments. If at any time you need to adjust the feet to be changed, bring them out. If you're finding this difficult also, sit up against a wall. Something else. Someone had sent me a message saying that it was a bit difficult to sit. Well, you can always put a bit of this is a nice low blanket. It's a prayer mat actually, but you can put a little bit of a lift. Depending on how much of a lift you need, keeping your hips elevated will automatically start to open the knees. And once the knees are open, we start to get better circulation, better energy flow through that space. And again, you just want to open or focus on keeping the knees open. So whatever sitting position you find yourself, be comfortable. Change it as necessary. And we'll come into the Nadi Shodhana, alternative nostril breathing. So I have done this once in an earlier class. I am assuming you have watched earlier videos, in which case, let's begin. Holding your right hand and the two first fingers of your right hand, right thumb will press into the nostril. We're breathing completely again from the belly, exhaling completely through your left nose. And when you're ready, inhaling deeply. Whatever the count, close the left, open the right. Exhale twice as long as whatever your count was on the opposite side. Nice and slowly, once you get to the bottom of your breath, inhaling up. Closing the right, opening the left, and again, nice slow exhale. Now, continue with this practice. Continue with your own rhythm. I'm going to remove my hand so I don't sound all nasally when I speak. Inhaling deeply. You may find one side blocked or one side more open. And if you are sick, of course, it will be blocked. Do not use nasal spray, things like that. If it's really clogged, keep blowing, keep snorting it out, or neti pot. Inhaling, following your own breath. If you're interested in more Shatkarma practices or cleansing practices, let me know and we can follow up. We can do a neti session together. Essentially, you're cleaning your nasal passage, inhaling, and activating all of that cilia that's the natural blockage of the particles floating around in the air, the thicker particles. So that lovely nose hair that we all have, oh yes you do, is very good for you. Don't pluck it. And exhaling down. Okay, we'll do a few more rounds in the same manner. Inhaling up. Closing opposite and exhaling down. If at any time, of course, you'd like to stop, come down, rest your forehead to the ground in a child's position, you're absolutely welcome to do so. And finishing this breath, exhaling down and hands back to the knees. Sitting nice and tall, just feel the effects of the body. And when you're ready, coming into our physical selves. So bringing the palms off of the knees, inhaling arms up, shoulders down, eyes at the elbows open, palms facing upwards, stretching the fingertips, tips of the fingers touching, and exhaling, coming down. The slower you go, the greater the benefit, the deeper the training to slow down your body. And the body follows the rhythmic laws of each other. Inhaling up, slow down one system, the rest will follow. And exhaling down. On your next inhale, coming up just halfway. Find that stability, find that balance. Fingers are extending, shoulders are down. Shoulder blades are working themselves down the spine. And feel after just 10 seconds, the gravity wanting to pull you down, the difficulty you might be having of keeping them straight. Keep resisting, lifting, strengthening, activating every mini muscle, not just relying on the bigger biceps. Don't just let the bones hang out here. On your next exhale, let's bring the left arm in first. And we're just going to come touch the center of the chest, as thymus gland. And as we exhale, stretch and push. Try to find that fleshy part. You'll inevitably walk into your clothes. Just keep walking it out all the way and see how far you can go to the opposite side, and then inhaling. And same thing on the opposite side. So starting right in the center of the thymus gland or the Anahata chakra. And if you want to stay here and do a little EFT, emotional freedom technique, or tapping, starts here as well. When we do tapping in the heart center, we're activating the thymus gland, which is an immune system trigger. However, disclaimer, I'm not claiming anything. I do believe it is currently a federal offense to claim that anything is an immune system strengthener. So it just feels kind of good. And on your next exhale, or if you haven't done so already, follow your rib cage out. You might even want to go between each one and thread through, whichever you prefer, or right at the top in that clavicular region, a lot of fleshy spots there, a lot of spaces that your breath will come to fill later on in the practice. And continue to exhale, massaging the whole way down, and inhale opposite sides. You feel how quickly the body heats up? So fast. On your next inhale, left arm to the outside of the right temple, fingers pressing into that sweet temple and leaning down to one side, opposite arm coming down. Feel the lengthening of the muscle as it comes down. Stop where you're comfortable. Flatten the palm or tent the fingers. Otherwise, you can just bring them up to the leg. Breathing here for a few minutes, a few seconds, literally. Nodding the chin into the chest. And again, feel the different places and the spaces where your muscles start to activate just with such simple movements. And follow the length of it. Can you? Where does it begin? Where does it connect? Where does it end? Where do you lose your presence in your body? On your next exhale, continue to roll down to the side and coming into a nice deep side stretch. So here, those three different positions, we're lifting up, being pushed back, and working ourselves over to the side. Those three things happening simultaneously. If this is a little bit deep, bring your hand up, use a block. You can chill out right here. And if you do want to come a little bit deeper, you can reach over to the opposite side and get a bit of leverage on the opposite knee. Breathing deeply here. Important to really focus on the side body, that lengthening of space. We can often contract down, and because we have such elasticity in our rib cage, doesn't mean that it's going to go elastic in a good way. It could contract and develop those negative habits. On your next exhale, dropping the upper arm down, tenting or flattening the palms. And exhale, twisting behind you, twisting with everything you've got, looking with the chin, the chest, the shoulders. Legs are relaxed. Breathing deeply. And on your next inhale, sunrise, those arms all the way up. Bring them back out again to the side. Palms facing up, and again, just hold them here for a moment. Such simple movements with such powerful effects. Feel how quickly your body begins to tire. Feel how quickly your body wants to stop. Remind yourself this too shall pass. Remind yourself, whether pain, whether pleasure, we seek the middle ground. We seek that middle way, that middle path. Your next exhale, let's take the opposite hand, pressing the fingers to the temple, and drawing the neck down, and opposite arm can start to lower down, chin to the chest, tenting the palms or fingers or flattening them as you are comfortable. Remember, you have a balloon in your belly. With every inhale, that balloon expands, making your body lighter, softer, flying away, free as a bird. Nodding your chin up and down, feeling where the muscles begin and end. incorporating that sensation of positivity into your practice, both physically, mentally, spiritually, and otherwise. On your next exhale, continue to fold down to the opposite side. And those 3 different movements, up, back, and over. Relax your belly. Keep breathing deeply with every subsequent breath. Your body becomes softer. Your breath becomes deeper. And start to feel the different moving parts coming together. The definition of the word yog. In English, we say yoga. In Sanskrit, they say yog. The definition of yog is union. Union of what? Body and mind. Mind and spirit. Spirit and energy. Yoga is not a religious practice. Exhaling, coming down. And twisting as much as you can to the opposite side. Twisting is a digestive agent. Be on alert for gurgling bellies. Let it go, let it pass. You're alone. And breathe. If you do feel great discomfort or pain, of course, come out of it a little bit, but trying to move through that and passing through those physical sensations of discomfort. And again, breathing into it, find your edge. And when you're ready, on your next inhale, sunrise, arms up. Both arms out, T-shaped position. Exhale, palms down. Interlace the fingers behind you, lifting shoulders down away from the ears. Lengthening the spine. And as we exhale with a nice straight back, folding forward. Come forward as much as you can, trying to get the belly towards the ground. Once you have hit your edge, then let the head roll down. And relax. Again, you can have a block here or a pillow if you are wanting to have a bit of support for the neck. You can let gravity pull you down as well, although some people are not really comfortable with just hanging in that space. Breathing deeply. We'll take a few deep breaths here. And on your next inhale, slowly coming up, arms releasing, coming up all the way back behind us, fingers pointing away from us, and lift those hips, shooting them forward, tucking the chin into the chest. Try to keep your knees open, squeeze your buttocks, pushing into your palms. Get a nice back bend here. You can walk your palms in a little bit, I guess, if you like. Try to get as much of a deep back bend in here as you can. And exhale. Release and feel that shift of blood. Such simple, powerful, and effective movements. We're going to come into our first yin position. So taking a block or a pillow, a bolster, anything that's going to give you a little bit of a arch in your lower back. So again, if you're using a block, you can have it on the low, medium, or high settings. For demonstrations, I'll put it on high. In the last class, we put between the shoulders, which is great for the Anahata heart chakra. And now to ground that down, we want to go a little bit lower on the back. So just around the place where the spine starts to connect with the lower half of the body and into the hips. Right in that place. And again, you can adjust as is comfortable for you. And we are going to hold this position for 2 minutes. So get comfortable. If you would like to have another block to rest your head or a pillow, that's absolutely fine. If you do not have blocks or if you are not comfortable doing this, come up to the wall. Bring your feet together in a butterfly position, so soles of the feet together, and just let the legs kind of start to hang open. And so up at the wall, just let them lay open a little bit there. Okay. Otherwise, for the rest of us, bring the block into the lower back and coming down, finding that spot where it's nice and deep bend, or by now you may feel where you have a bit of a blockage or tightness in your back. Put it there, put it in that place just to put a little bit of pressure and start to draw awareness into that space. So when you're ready, let's exhale, coming down nice and gently. And arms out to the side. Breathing very deeply. Paying attention to any sensations moving through the lower legs. With every inhale, lifting the chest, the belly. And with every exhale, falling deeper and deeper into your back bend, your relaxation, into your breath. If at any time you feel you need to come out of the pose, you're welcome to do so. And you can come directly into a Paschimottanasana, forward bend. Otherwise, for the rest of us, let's take another few breaths here. Really melting into this back bend. Very important. The whole world is suddenly online at the same time, which means we're all sitting. We all are hunched over. We are all very busy. So use this as that counterbalance, not only to the physical form that you've most likely had for much of the day, but also to create that sensation of openness, softness in the heart. Taking one more deep breath here. When you're ready, using the elbows, slowly being gentle with the neck, walk yourself back up, removing the block, and immediately let's come forward, lengthening the legs, and inhale, arms up, shoulders down, and coming into a forward fold, nice and relaxed. Your back can be rounded at whatever point you feel it starts to lose its availability. Find your edge and sit on your edge. We will stay there for another 2 minutes. Paschimottanasana is one of the most powerful and effective yoga positions we can take. We are relaxed but active. The backs of your knees pushing into the ground, tips of the toes pointing back towards you. With every breath, we're lengthening the spine, finding space between the vertebrae. And with every exhale, relaxing down. And follow this wave of breath through your body. Allow your consciousness to ride on this wave, etching through your physical form, chipping away at any little pockets of tightness or tension. We've been here for about 1 minute. We'll hold for about another minute longer. And if you would like a deeper stretch, you can put the block on the soles of your feet and then use that. And if that's not enough, well, get a second block. And if that's not enough, well, get another block and keep building onto that. Pushing the hips backwards. And again, that dichotomy in the body, those dual energies of reaching forward and pushing backwards. Start to feel the openness in the back body. Not often we bring our full awareness into the back of our body. We are the only mammal that walks bipedalism upright with all of our vulnerable internal organs facing out to all of our attackers, all of our enemies. They can see our vulnerabilities, they can see our weaknesses, and yet that is how we have evolved. So to compensate for that, very often we start to create physical shells where it's often difficult for others to penetrate, but often sometimes difficult for us to get out of. So on your next inhale, coming up, slowly rounding the vertebrae, one on top of another, stacking them. Good. And let's take a minute just to twist through that, or whatever movement you'd like to come into the body. And we'll come into our sitting position. So keeping the left leg in, always beginning with the same leg. I like to begin with the left. There are different energies, of course, more feminine or masculine associated with both sides. Keeping the heel nice and close. If you even want to sit on it a little bit, it starts to activate the perineum. All kinds of energy going on there. Let's turn our torsos towards the straight leg now. Make sure it's open up nice and wide. Try to turn as far as you can. We'll come into a straight bend. So inhale, arms up, shoulders down, and forward fold. Keeping the legs relaxed. Forehead hanging down. We're going to hold this just for 5 deep breaths. We've just come out of a nice deep back bend. So here we're still lengthening the spine, but start to feel the difference in the hips and in the hamstrings. Feel how the straight leg is getting a little bit more pressure. And really push the back of the straight leg into the ground. That'll help to activate, but also relax. So that's dual energy of active relaxation. Taking one more breath here, and on your next inhale, sunrise, those arms all the way up, palm faces behind, fingers pointing away. Inhaling, lift, squeeze your bum, shoulders down, come into a nice back bend. And exhale, coming down. Bring that bent knee up. So we're going to bring it up and over. We're going to come into kind of a half squat ninja position. So again, you can put this foot anywhere where you might feel comfortable. If you want a block or something to sit on, give you a little bit of stability, absolutely fine. Otherwise, let's bring that leg out. Bring the elbow, same elbow to the inside of the knee. Straight leg is still strong and standing. We're going to kind of roll over. So rolling a little bit forward, coming onto the tips of the toes here. Oh, sorry. Tips of the toes, kind of, right? So just elbow into the knee, rolling forward up on the tips of the toes. Straight leg. Let's bring it, the toes back towards our head. So we're getting that openness in the back of the knee. Okay, so if you can balance here, you're welcome to come into a balance. Otherwise, keep your palms down. Keep these toes moving back towards you. Feel the force on these toes. That's the same force that you should be able to exert on those toes. It's possible here. It's possible there. Continuing to breathe very deeply. And on your next exhale, coming down and cross that leg over and do a few ankle rotations. You can do both if you like, one way in the opposite direction. And now let's line up the figure 4. Make sure the bones are not pressing into each other. Inhale, arms up, shoulders down, eyes of the elbows open, touching tips of the fingers. And exhale with a nice straight back, coming forward, reaching as far as you can. And again, you can use your block here if you want a little bit of a deeper stretch. You can definitely incorporate that into your fold. But again, let's focus on really relaxing. We're going to hold this for 1 minute. Using your upper body to keep that knee opening. In any forward fold, we have that rolling sensation, the wave of breath and consciousness coming through the body. It is the breath, of course, that makes the difference between life and death. We have 20,000 opportunities a day to experience this miracle, and often we just let it pass without a thought. So take this time to remember that yoga is ultimately a breathing practice. Any physical result is pure coincidence. Taking another few deep breaths here. On your next inhale, rolling up with a nice round back, vertebrae by vertebrae, slowly stacking each one on top of the next. And flatten that foot down. We'll come into a nice, easy twist. So, and if this is not comfortable, keep it out wherever you feel. Or if you need to lift the hips, either right or left, to make sure they stay balanced. Whatever works for you. Toes in line with the knee, femur nice and tight to the torso. Inhale, arms up, shoulders down. Opposite elbow to the opposite knee. Find that place of resistance. Backhand acts as a pillar, or you can find binding. Use your strap if you would like. And breathe. We are going to hold this for 1 minute. As I've said many times now, twisting is a digestive agent for both your food and your thoughts. Don't hang on to either. Why would you walk around all day with a full bowel? Why would you walk around all day with a full mind? As you exhale, let go of all of the garbage you do not need in your body. There is more coming tomorrow. Fear not. Trust in the process. And breathe. Taking another few deep breaths here. Starting to feel the chemical reaction in the body, the fascia change. As the state change happens to the fascia, becomes either a more crystally ice sheet type substance versus one that is a liquid type of gel. Imagine the difference of how your body acts, feels, and moves. On your next exhale, slowly release. Uncross that leg. Again, keep the toes in line. We're coming into Marichyasana. We've done this before. If it's a bit tight, bring the knees out. Inhale, arms up, shoulders down, and forward fold. Keeping the bent knee, hugging in tight to the shoulder and side body. Stay here if you're comfortable. Otherwise, inhale. And coming into a nice diving forward bend. We'll just stay here for a few breaths. This is Marichyasana A. There's B, C, and D. Perhaps we will try B today. When you're ready on your next inhale, slowly rolling up. And on the B side, we're coming into a twist now. So inhale, arms up, shoulders down, opposite elbow to the opposite knee. So really finding that torque and trying to push your torso as close to that femur as you can. If this is where you stay in a twist, this is beautiful. You are still twisting. You're getting digestion, getting your spinal activation, and your shoulders and hips are both getting a good stretch. So if you are here, that's fine. Otherwise, we want to try to bring this arm around and again, find binding and breathe. Try to keep your hips flat. We'll stay here for just about 5 deep breaths. And wherever you are, you should be feeling definitely a bit of a pinch in the hips. Trying to keep your breath very deep. And notice how you find space the longer you hold. On your next exhale, release, coming back to center. And let's fold that leg under, give a bit of a nice hip opening here. So coming about halfway back, we're not going to lean back first. And let's inhale. Excuse me, I'll go to the side. It's coming about halfway back and bend this leg just a touch, not quite up all the way, but about halfway between straight and folded. Fingers pointing away from you. And we're going to come into a bit of a lift here. So inhaling up. And again, push your hips forward, squeeze your bottom, and keep the whole body focusing in on the midline. Everything's squeezing in on the midline. Your palms are still active, pressing into the ground. And feel, as soon as you activate your palms, the rest of your body becomes lighter. The rest of the muscles are not as we don't demand so much from them. And exhale, come down. Let's straighten that front leg. And coming all the way down into Vajrasana. We're going to stay here for 1 minute. So you can bring a block or a pillow, whatever you need to do to bring balance to the hips. Make sure the small of your back is not lifting too much. My wonderful, most beloved yoga teachers, Valerie Germanjenko, who's doing many amazing live classes on Zoom. I hope to join you, my dear. I remember she would come and slide a piece of paper under here, and if she could get that paper under, then we were definitely not really pushing our backs in enough. So imagine that you could not even fit a little piece of paper under your spine. As you activate, or rather as you flatten your back, no doubt your abdominal muscles will activate. And as they activate, you may feel the rest of your body contract. Well, avoid that. Focus that muscular movement, that intensity, just on this one region of the body. Let the rest of it relax. The whole body doesn't need to participate in this. What does your baby finger have to do with what's going on in your lower back? Except for the fact it has everything to do with it. But for the case of this analogy, relaxing the rest of your body, taking another few deep breaths here, making sure the shoulders are melting into the ground. Reminding yourself the balloon in your belly is so big by now, you're almost floating away. And when you're ready on your next inhale, using your elbows, walking your body up, shifting the weight over, forward, and walking the toes forward just a little bit, or a little bit past that 90 degrees. As soon as you start to feel the pull in the front of your hip here, and possibly in the hamstring of the bent leg, that's your edge, and come into this spot. We're going to hold this for 1 minute. Shoulders down. In our forward bend, we know what we do. We focus on the upper back quadrants of the lungs. We focus on a sensation of submission and humility. This sense of prostration also allows all of the internal organs to relax, allows the prefrontal cortex to gather a little bit of blood flow as we allow it to pool for a little bit right here as the head hangs down, relaxing the neck. Another few deep breaths here. Really finding those pockets of space. That massage we did across our chest at the beginning of the class, that can be done, of course, to every inch of the body. That should be done, of course, to every inch of the body. And then we feel it from the inside. On your next inhale, let's shift the weight, walking the hands back, lifting the feet, toes pointing towards the head. Try not to let your hips swing out to the side. Keep that alignment, and exhaling down. We'll hold this just for about 5 deep breaths. And when you're ready on your next inhale, shift that weight back forward and then just roll over and come into a seated position. And look what's there. It's my right leg. Just what I was looking for. Let's do the same thing on the opposite side. So keep the heel in wherever you feel it belongs. Turning your body to the long, lengthening, strengthening leg. Inhale, arms up, shoulders down. And come into a forward fold. Again, we won't hold this for too long, having just done several forward folds, but coming into the side body. So here, find the dichotomy not between the upper body and the lower, but between the left and the right. Allow the left leg to remain active and lengthening while the right completely at ease. And if you think you are relaxed, take another rotation through your body, because I guarantee you that at some point a muscle will have contracted back, because that's its natural habit. So start from the top of your head, rotate your consciousness through the body. Once you get to the end, come back and repeat. And that neurological habit is something that we can take with us throughout our day, something we can do anytime off the mat. Let's inhale, arms up, nice big sunshine arms, and exhale, lifting, squeezing, pushing forward, breathing, and exhale. As we come down, let's roll the toes over of that bent leg, lifting the knee. This straight leg stays active, toes moving back towards us. And coming into a bit of a balance. You can leave the hands down if you like. Otherwise, breathing nice and tall. And exhaling down. Crossing the legs into our figure 4 position. But first, let's rotate the ankles. And when you're ready, inhaling, arms up. Shoulders down, use the upper body to keep that knee opening. Even if you kind of just hang out here, if this is where you're at, this is a beautiful place to be. Keep the shoulders pressing down, keep that elbow pressing into the knee. Let the limbs lengthen. Let the limbs be the full limb. And breathe. As I said at the beginning, children under the age of 12 or children who are still growing, who are still ossifying rather, not still growing, they ought not do long holds. They can do, if they're here with us now, they ought to be doing something like this with a bit of a movement into it, right? A bit of a coming and going, not just that journeying. So breathing deeply here, letting the head hang down. Another few deep breaths. On your next inhale, slowly coming up. Flatten the sole, toes in line with the knee, femur in tight to the torso. Inhale, arms up, shoulders down, opposite elbow to the opposite knee. And come into a nice half twist. Finding binding if you're comfortable. Use your strap or belt if you'd like. We're going to hold this for 1 minuto. And breathe. Just feel where you find the tension. It's not everywhere. Be specific. Where exactly is it? Follow it. Follow the muscle and then excavate. Chip chop. Hammer away with that little pickaxe, those little miniature dwarfs that are running through your body on your breath. I often imagine that as I inhale, there's this little army of little bonhommes. I said bonhommes last night. I mean, these little creatures, these little dwarfs, these little figurines running through my body, chipping away at all of the stuff that does not need to be there. Because I don't know sometimes, and it is their job. So let them do their job. Just breathe in nice and deeply. Remember, we're still twisting here, so twisting with everything you got. Your nose is pulling you over to the side. And when you're ready on your next inhale, releasing the twist, unraveling the spine, unfolding the leg, keeping the toes in line with the knee, keeping the hips squared. And if you do find them unbalanced a little bit, just lift, open, drop. Okay, inhale, arms up, shoulders down, and exhale, forward fold. Coming into Marichyasana A, adjusting the feet as you need. If this is comfortable, stay here. Otherwise, flying forward and forward fold. You can use your strap here to help with your binding. Trying to keep the hips squared and centered. Just feel the pressures that you are putting on the inside of your body and feel how you are responding. Are you resisting? Where is your mind right now? Continuing to breathe on your next inhale, release, Marichyasana B. So opposite elbow to the opposite knee, coming into a bit of a twist. This is a beautiful place to be. Otherwise, trying to make it a little bit deeper, knee coming towards the armpit, looping the arm around and finding binding. Again, you can use your strap here and breathe. Active but relaxed. And when you're ready, on your next inhale, release, unraveling your twist and folding the leg back. Before we come into our back bend, let's put a little bit of a yang. I admit, yang is here. It's not purely yin. Any yang, any force is yang. So if you don't want to do this, if you just feel like you're a noodle right now, that's fine. Otherwise, palms on the ground, toes pointing towards the feet, bending halfway this leg, straight leg. And inhale, lifting, pushing into the ground with any part that's touching it. Everything participates. Why rely on just one thing when you have 10 things? It doesn't make sense. Breathing deeply. And exhaling down, straighten the leg, and let your body come back down and relax. We're going to stay here for 1 minute. Imagine your belly can touch the sky. Imagine your belly can touch the sky. We just haven't had enough practice. When you're ready on your next inhale, using the arms and the elbows to shift the weight, coming up all the way over. And sorry, I keep falling out of the camera. Walking the feet forward, exceeding 90 degrees, flattening the front foot of the back lengthening leg. And let's hold here for 1 minute. There's a variety. Of course, you don't have to be exactly in this position. Wherever you find yourself, wherever you're comfortable, whatever props you need, whatever support you draw upon, use it. If you need it, use it. Why would you not use it? About halfway in this pose, by now feeling the chemical reaction, feeling the hyaluronic acid being released into the body. Shoulders are down, spine is lengthening, midline is taking the focus as the whole body squeezes inward. Taking another few breaths here. And when you're ready on your next inhale, walking the hands back, lifting the toes. And we'll stay here just for 5 or so deep breaths, really opening up the back body, back of the leg, back of the back. The key to yin is time and stillness. Time and stillness spent on your edge. So within the yin practice, while we are not moving and not getting a sweat, not feeling that cardio, this is the best thing we can do for our bodies. We are using our muscles on a daily basis just with holding our head up and standing straight. But that interconnective dense tissue, it does not work that way. We need to spend time to get past the macro flesh into that dense, hard space. On your next exhale, let's kind of come forward and then just kind of let yourself lean down onto your behind and rock and roll, kids. Let's come onto your tailbone, sacrum. Hold yourself as you like, whatever feels good. And breathe, slowly starting to rock, or rather just tilt, just angle yourself. And then slowly start to let that angle become a rock and trying to control little by little bit until we coming into, oh, there we go. Humpty fell over. Once you're rolling, keep rocking. And again, pay attention to where there's any locking happening in your spine. Try to imagine every single vertebrae touching individually, separately. Oh, yeah. And feel that space. That's where your fascia lie. That space between the vertebrae. Squeeze that, press that out. Also, of course, the stretching helps to get out all the lactate acid in our body, which is cause of soreness. On your next inhale, or rather on your next exhale, and rock back. Let's keep the legs up and just do a few tiny little circles in one direction and the opposite direction. You feel that nice lower back massage, right? You don't feel that abdominal workout, right? It's all totally relaxing massage. You do this for hours and hours. It's really nice to do up against a wall as well. Maybe we'll do a wall yoga class tomorrow. If you're interested, let me know. Send me a message and I can create a wall yoga class. Otherwise, let's drop the legs out. Drop the feet down to the outside of the mat, spreading them nice and wide, and allow them to windshield wiper to one side and looking over to the other side and lifting the hips a little bit here. And exhale, relax, and to the other side. Those dichotomy of a twist. And exhale, follow your breath 4 or 5 times. And when you're ready, let's come back, 2 legs raised. Let's take a minute just to stretch out the back. If you're not comfortable stretching out the back or coming into an inversion, that's fine. If you are menstruating or have neck problems, I also encourage you not to come up. Otherwise, keeping your head facing forward, let's slowly begin to bring the feet back. Wherever, if this is where they land, this is fine. Don't then start to jump and bounce from here. Roll nice and gently, slowly finding the floor, and stay here for a minute. Not literally a minute, 5 breaths, actually. If you want to go deeper, you know where to go. There's a great comfort in this position. On your next exhale, we're going to come into a shoulder stand, so bending the elbows. Thumbs should be to the side body, fingers to the waist, fingers kind of at the spine facing each other. We don't want the hands like this, we want them like this. So our weight is going to be on the forearms. So slowly start to shift the weight coming up. You can be in an easier inversion. You don't have to be straight up here. Or you can start to walk your hands up to just to go into a shoulder stand. Just talk to you for a minute. So whichever one of those positions is more comfortable for you. This position is actually said to be the position of the nectar of youth. They say that there is a fluid, I can't remember the Sanskrit name of it right now, that drips from the
pituitary gland and kind of gathers in this bowl here. And that is what gives us our youth or revitalization. On your next exhale, let's slowly come out of it. So bring the feet back behind the head, releasing the arms up to the side, and bringing the legs down and coming into Shavasana. Lying here, feeling the heaviness in the body, feeling the weight in the body. Close your eyes, deepen your breath, and just focus on that 3-part breathing and take 10 deep breaths, counting backward from 10 to 1. And if you lose count, come back to 10. Inhaling 10 and exhaling 10. Relaxing every single muscle of your body. Inhaling bright white light through the crown of the head. And as you exhale, allow that energy to cascade through the body, penetrating every single cell and relaxing. Feel free to stay in the Shavasana position for as long as you like. Otherwise, slowly begin to wiggle the fingers and toes. Allow your head to turn to the left and the right. Inhaling, arms overhead, interlace the fingers, stretching into the side body. One side and the next. And inhaling, bringing the legs up and rocking side to side, making small, big, medium circles with the knees. Just observing the effects on the body, and when you're ready, coming down onto the right-hand side, using the right bicep as a pillow, the original yoga position. Take a minute to thank those who have made you. Take a minute to send your love to those who are suffering. Smile to release the endorphins, keeping what you need to continue to be great. And when you are ready, very gently coming back up into a comfortably seated position. Taking a moment to feel the effects of the practice on the body. And as is traditional, bring your thumbs to the sternum, feeling the rhythm of your heart, following the rhythm of your life, in tune with the rhythm of the universe. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Atma Namaste. Enjoy the rest of your day, your night, your evening, whatever time it is where you are, and I will see you tomorrow at 6 p.m. PST.